Niggas gotta do something now, man. I'ma show you how to rob these podcast niggas. I'ma show you the rundown game for real. Brooklyn champion. This ain't serious. Being broke could make you delirious. So I'm robbing and stealing from my ones to get bigger. Champion, how I feel to rob your podcast.
Never had to beg for nothing, my nigga. You know I go get it. Whether it's bitches or digits, I'ma complete the mission. I came to take everything, I ain't leaving a penny. Yo, you podcast niggas, arm up and get ready. I snatch Melissa, tell Joe you wanna see her again. Give me the pin to your motherfucking ATM. I take debit or credit anytime, it don't matter. I flip queens on his neck for playing around with the cheddar. Envy selling books and real estate. Plus he a family man, so I know he giving up everything. Just made me laugh too hard, I couldn't even back her down. Charlamagne gave up the chips, then I told him lay it down. Wallow talk too much, give up the check, nigga. Gil give up the bread and the jersey on your chest, nigga. Sharp with the cannon. Shannon, this ain't a threat. I know you hot, I know your bread and them tight ass sweats. Y'all niggas gotta do something now, man. It's only part one. I got part two, part three, part four. It's coming, nigga. If I see any of you niggas, y'all know what it is. Stop playing with me. Brooklyn, spin a yard, nigga.
And like I wasn't there when Foxy did it. Like I just met her, I was new, you know. And it's about being comfortable too. Like if you don't have a relationship with the producer, 9 times out of 10 you're not gonna be in the room while they're creating. You might be in the room while mixing, mastering, because you know most producers want to be hands on with the mixing process to make sure that the beat and the record sounds as best as it can sound. Right. You know, adding stuff. You know, we call it post production, coming back in after creating the record and production and adding post-production, adding sounds, sound effects, transitioning into other records. So a lot of that I was able to do back in the day. Lil Mo, Mike Jones, you know, but when you fast forward to, you know, later on, it was more so of sending the music out. Sometimes I would hear records the same time the world would hear records when it drops. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a lot of that.
Must have said that.
A lot of that.
Not like us, right?
Yeah, bro, I ain't hear that, you know. And you don't, and as a musician and as a producer, you kind of frown upon that because it's like you didn't have your input. You didn't get to put your input in. You know, there's some records that I created. I don't like everything. I don't like the levels of things. I don't like my drum sound. I don't like how that was mixed. He or she could have said it better. You know, we could have did that line over the hook. You know, that was you was a little fast right there on that part. Like these are things that
you hear that though.
I hear as a producer.
That's your shit.
That I could have came in, you know, and made it happen with. So, you know, you can only control what you can control, man. So
that's true.
I would be disappointed about it, but then would get the bigger picture in the record and be appreciative that I got the record.
Right. Now, how was the business of production for you? You know, publishing, all of that stuff, because there's a lot of people that are producing now and have produced back in the days, and they're suing. Or whatever the case may be, because they didn't get their credit, they didn't get their points off the album. The publishing went right back to the record label instead of a percentage going to them. Did you encounter any of those type of issues, or was your business always clear?
So for me, back when I started, I wasn't on the level of people wanting to represent me. You know what I'm saying? From a managerial standpoint and from having attorneys and everything like that. You know, nobody want to represent you until you have somewhat of a name. Like, because what are they working for? What are they working towards? Right. So that was the thing for me. So everything that I had to do when I first started was on my own. So I went and learned and picked up the book, everything you need to know about the music business.
Donald L. Pass.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
And read it over and over and over and over and over again and taught myself the game.
Right.
And so it's funny when you ask that, because my first placement was Foxy Brown, and I had a situation with that when it comes to the producer fee and the points and the publishing and the credit, where Foxy's other brother, Gavin, was her partner, like her writing partner, creative partner. Now I don't understand, it's coming up, you know, so he wrote with her, helped pick beats, that whole process of the creative process. So fast forward, the album drops, and it said that it was produced by Gavin and me. Right? And I remember
did it say producer Amadeus co-produced by?
Nah, I said produced by Gavin and Amadeus.
All right, so you were in the back end.
Yeah. Right. So for me, we never had the conversation. For me, I know I made the entire track on my own. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't know what all entailed when it came to creating the record. I could think of it in that way now, from understanding the business and maturing. But back then, I don't, nah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because production is a lot to production. It's not about the track.
Yeah.
Not just about the track. It's about everything that I mentioned to you, being in the studio, being hands-on, say it like this, let's change that. So I'm sure a lot of that was done. But for me, I didn't understand that concept. I was like, nah, bro, I made the beat. How are you on
about
there?
50% of it.
So yeah, he had took like the front half of the front end on the bread. So I'm calling up Def Jam like, yo, man, what's up? And he's like, we already paid you. I ain't pay who? I'll be paid Gavin. How?
Right, he didn't touch that beat.
So it was a big issue, man. And you know, we settled it with Def Jam. They ended up paying me the back end. So I think, you know, for that track it was $10K for the track. They gave 5 to Gavin and gave 5 to me. The credits were split, like as I mentioned, like that. It was just never a conversation around it. It happened, and I kind of saw it once the album dropped, and then once it was time to get paid and handle the paperwork, was like, what you mean? Like,
Right.
you know, so that was a moment, and honestly, bro, like I was heartbroken, bro. I was heartbroken.
Yeah, because you have such a passion for this.
My first moment, and again, and it's not that it was wrong, it was just never communicated. Because when you think about it technically, again, I can understand it now. You know, there's producers, there's people that I work with, there's teams that I work with, and we have different deals and different agreements and different, you know, different partnerships, and it's all under the title production, which means different things. It's not only about making the beat, it's not only about being in the room with the artist and producing the actual songs. There's different elements to production and different parts and different components to production. So now I understand, but back then I was livid.
So I'm gonna tell you a quick story, right? So I kind of disagree with you a little bit, right? Because at that time I felt like Gab could have took upon himself to pick up the phone and say, yo, listen, this is being released on this day. This is how we're gonna work this out. And all of that could have been avoided, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like, and this is no slight to him, shout out to him, but sometimes I feel like because they've been in a certain position for whatever amount of time, they have the success of their brother, sister, whatever artist they're working with, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna continue doing this way.
Correct.
That's what I've been doing.
Correct.
But I remember being in the studio with Just Blaze, right?
Wow.
Back in
Legend.
2006,
Okay.
yeah. When he was working on Show Me What You Got for Jay-Z. And I was literally a fly on the wall. I was just there watching everything, right? And of course, he's the producer. He's the executive producer because he bought 1500 or nothing in. He bought, he had Guru there. He had some other guy named Pac-Man in there doing engineering. He had this person on the keys.
He was the orchestrator.
Yeah, he was orchestrating everything, but he created the base, the foundation of it. He chopped the sample from Shaft in Africa. He put it together with a drum pattern that was very simple on the MPC 4000. And then he was like, nah, I need breaks here. I need this. I need that. So anyway, after putting it all together, getting on the phone and calling Hov and saying, yo, I got your first single, Kingdom Come, da-da-da-da. Fast forward, now the release is about to happen. I literally watched him get on the phone and call 1500 or nothing.
It's big.
Call this person, call that person. Yo, this is how this is going split-wise.
It's big.
Right? So that's why I said I kind of negate what you just said about that. Like, not you per se, but you weren't educated on it, right?
Correct.
And that's fine. You have a passion for this. You're not doing it for the money. But when you see it come out and you're the last to know, then you're the last to know how much you're supposed to get paid.
Yeah, man.
Right? Like, that's an issue.
It was a moment of, and it, you know, just to be straight up, it was a moment of, we know he's brand new.
Right.
We know he's brand new. He's fresh out the gate. He don't know no better. All I knew was making music.
Right.
Never had on placement before, so I don't understand. I don't know the process. And there was a moment where it was like, well, let's do what we do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It worked.
Yeah.
It worked, but
it made you deep dive more into the
deep
business
dive,
aspect
understand,
of music, right?
And when you think about things, right, and just life in general, and I know you can relate to this, and for those that are tuned in, I was very disappointed. I was upset. I was hurt. I was mad, angry, so many different emotions. But what I did was I put it into the music. I put it into the music. I worked harder. I applied myself. I educated myself. You know, not to say it would never happen again, but if I can avoid it from happening again, if I can let people know, like, no, I know what I'm doing.
Right.
I know what's going on. I know what it's supposed to be. They'll know, okay, we can't do that with him. Right.
We can't.
But when you think about careers, man, and you think about, I'm grateful for the moment. Because it was a
lesson, not a loss.
It's a lesson. And then when you think about where I'm at today, in my production career and what I've done and what I've accomplished, it goes to show you, like, nothing and no one could stop God, bro. Nothing and no one could stop your gift, what you can do, how you can use it. I was making hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of beats.
Right.
So it's an unfortunate moment, unfortunate but fortunate moment.
Yeah. It was.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and
that's a
when
fact.
I think about King Amadeus, bro, look, like
You up.
over 100 artists.
And you know what's funny? Not there's no slight at no artist.
Nah, yeah.
But what's funny is that he's doing better than a lot of the artists that he produced for. Way better for them. He's doing way better than they are, unfortunately. But
Stay there.
Up in the yard, nigga.